And so knowledge opens the door to information about spirituality. And in the beginning, it is mostly through religion for young humanity, which puts in place a system of right and wrong, of codifying what is acceptable behavior within a group, within a society. And so Moses gave us the Ten Commandments, which were a very firm, this is right and this is wrong. And if you follow these, you will then be righteous and you will be looked in upon with favor by God's source. So for young humanity, it was important because it was a very somewhat lawless society. And they were then learning that if you follow this, you then grow and you evolve. And then Jesus came along and said, no, it's really about love. That if you love, you will be righteous. You wouldn't covet, you wouldn't steal, you wouldn't harm, you wouldn't hurt. And so there was then a new law that was again codified into religion of the New Testament with a lot of underlying deep esoteric wisdom and truth within it that one can ferret out when they begin to search deep into some of the esoteric wisdom. But again, in the beginning, it's knowledge about what is the system of the soul, of spirit, of the masculine, the feminine. And so we gather more and more information and begin to have wisdom, which we realize that through knowledge, there is the possibility of actually embodying and living within this knowledge, becoming it, not simply knowing it. And that's a great step in our evolution. Uh, I think many of the sessions over this last, couple of weeks that I've done with individuals have been, they have lots of light from the diaphragm up and mostly white light. White light is knowledge, it's knowing, it's the mind has gathered and codified this system of beliefs and ideas, and then is able to, by thinking, somewhat live it and be it and experience it. But then it is within our work that the feeling nature of the soul begins to take the knowledge through meditation and begins to embody it. So it actually becomes a living system, something that we innately express within form. And that is really the essence of the soul. We have talked about how the soul being a hologram of perfection, it is literally this frequency of perfection, of light, of love, but it doesn't have wisdom about three-dimensional worlds of form. And so that's why we as souls enter into dimensional worlds to gather information about good, bad, light, dark, masculine and feminine, yin and yang. And then as we have the knowledge of that, we can then begin to embody it, and it becomes our system of living. And so the soul is not so much a knowledge-based entity, it's more of a feeling-based quality. When you hone and refine your feeling nature, it becomes intuitive, it becomes very fluid. So through the feeling nature, if it is very alive within you, you could literally allow your feeling to flow into a person, a tree, into literally anything within the universe, and your feeling nature can become it. And so once you then become it, all that it is, as feeling information simply speaks back to you, so to speak, as knowing, feeling within the body. You have become what you have felt. So when I do sessions or workshops or readings, I don't really think about what I'm going to say or think about the moment. I move into a space of being very grounded and feeling the light of the soul embodied within. And then I allow my feeling nature to reach out and, if you will, somewhat hover within the room and hold everyone within my feeling nature grasp, so to speak. And because we are then unified, then I know what is somewhat going on within them, within the bigger gestalt of the people around. And so it becomes then information is gathered from that feeling quality that can be spoken, that can then be shared, that is then based upon feeling. It's not really so much knowledge, even though it's very wise. It's really about what is the feeling put into words. And when words rest with feelings, they actually then have a vibrational movement into somebody else's body. And so feelings can actually then carry word structure and vibration. And so the soul, wanting to learn about three-dimensional worlds of form, literally takes a holographic piece of itself. And as we talked about, if you shatter a hologram, the tiniest piece has the fullness of the hologram within it. And so the soul takes one of these small pieces, we might say, kind of like the facets of a diamond, and drops that facet down into time space, and the feeling nature of the soul is embodied. And what is the feeling nature of the soul? It's joy, creativity, imagination, adventure, excitement, enthusiasm, and love, which are also the qualities of the fully awakened and divine child. And so from 0 to 7, it is the embodiment of the soul in its feeling nature. We call it a child because that's the size of the being at that particular time within form. And so when we say we're doing inner child work, we're really doing soul retrieval work. We're here to learn and understand not only the feelings of the joy and the clarity and the beauty and grace of our soul, but also those which are counterclockwise spirals of feeling, which are emotions, which is what happens when the feeling nature of the soul is born and wants to learn certain things within this dimension. It chooses mother, father, culture, society that will then bring it the gifts of love, if there is that is being karmically aligned, but it also then gives us those emotions that we're working on, be it fear or worry or sadness or loneliness, frustration, anger, even hatred. And there's nothing wrong with any of those emotions. They're simply qualities and vibrations that the soul is wanting to learn about. If we project those out and express them, it becomes again another avenue of our own discomfort, because we're then meeting in the world things that we think are making us angry or sad or lonely, but it's really our vibrational energy that is emanating out and creating that. It's a feeling within it. It's not a feeling of love and joy and peace. It's an emotion of fear or worry or frustration or anger. But again, feelings, not so much knowledge and wisdom. We then learn through our actions that when I do something that hurts or harms in someone and receive back this feeling of my own disgust or dis-ease, if you will, I then have knowledge that I don't really want to do that anymore. And so through knowledge, we begin to have information and understanding about this dimensional world and what the soul is expecting us to learn and grow from. But as we then realize that every emotion is simply something that is teaching us that the soul has not really felt loved within this world of form, again, which we call the child. And so when we feel the emotion, again, feel it. If we're in knowledge and thinking, we want to examine the emotion. Who did what, where, when, how, why, when did it happen before? What did I do about it then? What should I do about it now? And so there's this whole mental structure of wanting to gather knowledge about the emotion. But the emotion is simply the call for love from the soul that is then here to express nothing but love. And so when we feel the emotion, again, we feel it. We don't dislike it. We don't judge it. We don't criticize it. As we allow ourselves to feel into it and somewhat become it without emoting it, without emitting it, without projecting it, we can allow our feeling nature to flow a little bit deeper inside, and we find that childlike part of us. Again, we call it a child, but it is the soul. The soul wanting to give us information at a feeling level that when you feel sadness or loneliness and you don't dislike it or judge it, but simply slip through it and love yourself, being the soul, this child, you realize that when I have love embodied as a feeling within, I no longer am worried. I'm no longer fearful. I'm no longer wanting or desiring things in the world to fulfill me. I feel whole and complete within. And so knowledge then becomes embodied as wisdom. And so this is the time frame of 0 to 7. When we have knowledge and we know that we must now literally begin to embody it as feeling, that's when we begin to move to a system of meditation or a way to actually calm the mind. And as the mind becomes calm, it's no longer looking. The only reason that the mind is so busy, it's looking for something. It's looking for love. But no matter how much you look outwardly, it'll only be a temporary satisfaction. It could be more money or power, glamour. For some, it could be addiction. That's their love. They turn to alcohol or drugs or any number of things that they think that if I am embodied with this, then I'll feel good. But good is not the feeling of love. Love is a deep embodied feeling that I have within me, the vibration of source I am, the soul, the grace of all that is. And because I so love me, again, feel it, I love me and love all that I am, I begin to fully feel and realize that everything in creation is but source. There's only one ocean of creation, and the ocean has many fishes within it. It has waves that spume and crash upon the shores, and all the water within the world, it goes back to the ocean. It can be frozen, it can be snow, it can be a trickling stream. It can even look like a muddy river. But once the water gets to the ocean and the mud settles out, the water is always pure. And that's source, that's the soul. That's who we innately are. We may be carrying some silt and mud around us within our aura. And as we're looking through it and projecting light through it, it then creates a muddy world that we think is happening out there. And then we judge it and we criticize it and we might even dislike it. But it's simply looking through the colored glasses of your own silt and mud. And no matter how much you want to think about Where'd the silt come from? Where'd the mud come from? What happened? It won't change it. It happened because you didn't receive unconditional love, and not because mother and father and culture were ignorant or bad people. You chose it. It's giving you information at a feeling level that when I truly embrace these emotions and don't judge them or criticize them, but simply feel myself flowing through them as the divine golden light soul I am, and then find what's inside, what wasn't love, but a part of yourself. And when you love that part of yourself, automatically you realize that I am source. I am the living water. I am the ocean of oneness. And everything in creation is but the same water. You can observe that the water of creation might have some mud or silt or some spume or foam on it. But because of your feeling nature, your open heart, you can literally allow yourselves to feel out and move through that which is the illusion of the mud and the silt. And you feel what really lives within all creation. One water, one living source. And because you have acknowledged and then you have literally felt yourself loving that, literally that which is the covering begins to disappear. You're not trying to change someone or make someone different. You're simply there as the embodiment of the living light, acknowledging the living light and water within them. And they can no longer hold their feelings of separation and they wake up. So, in one way, it's somewhat simple, but we have to be able to train the mind to be more of a silent instrument. And as we've talked about, when the mind becomes silent, it becomes a very strong focus of intention, which is light. When you hold focused attention and light upon something, you literally are giving it light. There is a vibration that comes from you. You might not recognize it, but it's actually happening. And the moment you then shine light upon something and you give it light, it grows. If you shine the light upon joy and creativity and peace, you will receive back more of those things. If you shine the light of the mind upon weeds of ignorance, you will receive more ignorance, more difficulties, more travail, and you will think that that's happening to you. But in fact, it's the mind. And when we train the mind to be silent and it is then focused upon one thing, the joy and the love and the creative of the feminine principle, which is the soul, which is the childlike qualities of joy and creativity, imagination and excitement and adventure, happiness and peace, it increases those. And you then literally embody it and become it. And so knowledge, once again, is transformed into wisdom. You are being, no longer so much thinking. And because you are, again, every day through this system, you're training your feeling nature to be more alive, to be more aware, to be more sensitive. And because you're grounded and you are then releasing some of the unconscious emotions within your own aura, you can reach out with an even more profound feeling nature and hold and become and not worry about being hurt or harmed or meeting something out there that might in some way be disgusting. You're literally allowing your feeling nature to be the living light, and it simply embraces creation. It's just like the physical sun. It never worries about what we might throw at it. We could send bombs and airplanes and all kinds of stuff to the sun, and it would simply, in its glory and its light and its radiance, it would simply change it back into light. And that's what we do when we become the living light. We literally embrace creation and we turn everything back into light. We embrace the symbolic darkness. No, we're simply hiding something that wasn't loved. And because we have learned to find our own darkness, our own shadow and emotions, and go through it and bring love, and then we are awakened, we know that we have the key, that we can hone and refine the power of the masculine, the upper triangulation of the star, tetrahedron, the lower triangulation of divine feminine love, and we imagine, see, and feel it all around us. As it turns in its counterclockwise rotation, it opens within the heart chakra, the jewel in the lotus, back into the void. And then we realize I am source, breathing myself into dimensional reality. And what I focus and feel becomes manifest. Such a amazing, delicate, profound system of really the ease of creation. Thinking brings us to this place in our lives, and so we don't discount it. We don't dislike it. We acknowledge it. The system of Moses, the system of Jesus, the system of many great teachers down through history. They've given us information, codification about what is good and righteous. And now we're at the time where we become it. We feel it because we bring love, true love, into the equation. So one of the, of course, things that helps us refine our feeling nature is to feel our breath. When we're breathing through the open doorway within the heart, we literally are feeling spirit arising forth from within. And as we are then inhaling, we're really inside the void, and we're then moving ourselves out into this dimension. So it's through the open doorway, and then gentle exhale, we then collapse it into our creative joy. And in our meditation, it's golden liquid sunlight and peace, which then moves through every cell and tissue of the body and vibrates out into the world and literally brings light into this dimension. So I'm going to take you through about 5 minutes of deep breathing. All you need to do is follow along. So we can close the eyes and feel the body relaxing. We realize the body is held in a molecular construct by the soul. And so we can feel space within the body. The saints of old said the body is as light as cotton fiber. And as they would feel cotton fiber, there would be this expansive, open feeling. And then we bring our attention to the breath, the open doorway within the heart. And as we are breathing in, we're really from within the void breathing out. And it's a feeling of this movement of the breath of source I am flowing into this dimension. We then See and feel it becoming liquid, golden sunlight and peace. We are refining our feeling nature. And with each slow, deep inhalation, we can pause at the depth of the inhale, feel the void, I am everywhere present, and then exhale, manifestation. To feel the pause between in-breath and out-breath is the place of 0 point, the eternal void. And then once again, breath is life. Source I am. I'm breathing in, but from the interior source, I'm pushing light out into this dimension. Everything in creation is breathing. It is said that even an electron pulses in and out of manifestation. There's the in-breath and there's the out-breath. It's the tides of the ocean. It's the movement of the winds. Life and movement is breath, source, and we summon it from the open doorway with deep feeling clarity. Then holding the mind steady upon light within and all around, cells and tissues. The cells and the tissues feel this living light and they transform. We can affirm, I am the light. When we feel it, it becomes real. Refining the feeling nature through breath, breathing source into this dimension. And as the great master Jesus said, I am the doorway. All that the Father is, I am. I am the void. I am the doorway. I am manifestation. I am the living ocean of all creation. One breath throughout the entire universe, breathing, becoming, manifesting. And a couple of more deep, deep breaths. Summoning source from the open doorway. To become liquid, living light. And then very easily now, begin to feel yourself slowly coming back more and more into the moment. And when it feels comfortable, to open the eyes. In our meditation with the star tetrahedron, over these last several years, we have formulated it with our mind, seeing it and feeling it as a light form structure around us. But when we move to a deeper place of wisdom, we realize that the star tetrahedron is not something I create, it's something I am. And I sit at the doorway and I am the doorway. And I am that which is breathing myself into this dimension. And so it's not so much that we're outside the body looking at the star tetrahedron and this dimensional doorway, is I am. I am the doorway, I am the void, I am manifestation, I am the body. It is all just the ocean in different vibrational frequencies. So it becomes a feeling of literally oneness and unity as we sit at the doorway and realize it is all that which I am. So hold that within your feeling nature as we move into the meditation. So once again, we simply close the eyes and feel the body relaxing, feeling the space. Whatever we feel becomes real. Feel the space, the openness. Feeling yourself sitting at the open doorway. On one side, the void I am, the doorway I am, and creation I am. As I simply breathe, I observe above me that which I am, the triangulation of divine power and action. I observe beneath me the divine feminine I am, gently rotating right to left. I am the rotation, I am the star. And resting at the doorway, I simply summon the breath of that which I am, the void, and I breathe it into creation. And around, within, and through me, living sunlight. I will join with you, and we will create light activation within and all around. And then very easily now, still sitting at the doorway, I am, allowing yourself to slowly come back into the now. So you can practice your breathing pretty much any time when you're walking or driving or cooking. It's just the remembrance to remember that this is a practice that when I feel it, I'm always then creating more expression within my body of the feeling of this quality flowing. All right, my friends, thank you very much. And we shall see you soon.